Louis Lumière, the inventor of the first motion picture camera, sent a crew to Russia on a special commission to shoot a solemn event in 1896. Midday on May the 14th, at the Kremlin in Moscow, the coronation of the Russian Emperor, Nicholas II. During the Soviet period, he would have been described as a tyrant and an oppressor of the working class. Many people in Russia have different opinions on the country's last emperor. In certain quarters, he's considered to be a model statesman and even a martyr. However, it's also believed he was a faceless politician who ruined his country. He's referred to as Nicholas the Slaughterer and the Tsar-Martyr. But who really was Nicholas II, the last Russian emperor? Dmitry Shmarin is a realist painter. He lives in Moscow and studies the life and times of the last Russian emperor. Nicholas II is a constant source of inspiration for the artist. During the Soviet period, when Dmitry was at art school, he read a book on Nicholas II and his family. Dmitry is a descendant of the Don Cossacks. His ancestors served with the Royal Guard. Some of his close relatives were monarchists, but they had to keep their silence during the Soviet era. Dmitry is now happy to openly express his opinions. His first large-scale painting was devoted to the royal family. He then created a series of paintings entitled The Life of Nicholas II. He's now working on a new canvas. It's dedicated to the history of the Romanovs.
How could such bright, pure and beautiful people have fallen victim to the blackguard, possessed with a raving hatred? It's totally illogical and senseless.
Russian historian Sergei Simonov has been carrying out research on the rule of Nicholas II for many years. He's got an extensive collection of memorabilia from that era. It's evidence of the glory and the might of the Russian monarchy. But there's another object, which is a reminder of a great tragedy that marked the rule of the last emperor.
Hadinka Field. It's close to central Moscow. Thousands gathered here to celebrate the coronation of the emperor. It was all very badly organized. People died in a stampede, vying for the right to get a special mug with Nicholas's monogram. People were given a mug, gingerbread, a drink, and something else.
9 years later, a similar incident happened in St. Petersburg. On January the 9th, 1905, thousands of demonstrators took to the streets in the empire's capital. Incited by provocateurs, they clashed with police. Soldiers opened fire, killing hundreds of people. It went down in history as Bloody Sunday.
Император Николай II, он...
Nicholas II didn't give a personal command to fire at the workers heading to the Winter Palace on January the 9th.
В январе 1905 года, 9 января.
But at the same time, he didn't stop those who gave the orders to disperse the crowd to shoot at the people.
Разгоном этого шествия, расстрелом этого шествия.
Bloody Sunday sparked a wave of violence across the country. Russian socialists tried to stage a revolution. To avoid a national disaster, Nicholas II started a program of reforms. The Tsar ushered in civil rights and freedoms and sanctioned the election of the first parliament, known as the State Duma. This move helped to create political balance and economic growth. Industry developed at a fast pace, as well as agriculture and trade. Today, Russian historians often criticize Nicholas II in his role as a statesman.
It's hard for me to say this, but going on general accounts, he wasn't much of a ruler, to put it mildly. He lived in a time when only a powerful personality like Peter the Great could lead the nation and control the situation. whereas Nicholas was born, as the poem goes, for a peaceful life, for the country's silence.
Слава Отцу и Сыну и Святому Духу, ныне присно и во веки веков. Аминь.
This monument was erected in the settlement of Taininskaya in the Moscow region in 1996, on the 100th anniversary of the last emperor's coronation. Hundreds of people from across Russia gather here every year to pay their respect to the Tsar. Russian monarchists are convinced that the nation made a serious mistake at the beginning of the 20th century by killing the Tsar. Nicholas II was the eldest son of the Emperor Alexander III. He was born in St. Petersburg on May 18, 1868. Children from the royal family were given a good education at home. Nicholas spoke 3 foreign languages: English, French, and German.
Dynastic marriages are usually marriages of convenience. It so happened, this time Nicholas II's marriage was a happy one. He loved his wife.
In keeping with the royal tradition, Nicholas II was obliged to marry a woman with a royal background. Nicholas chose the Princess of Hessen-Darmstadt, who came from German nobility. The princess, whose first name was Elisa, converted to Orthodox Christianity and adopted the name of Alexandra. Nicholas, like his forefathers, was not indigenous to Russia. The Romanov family was closer to the German, Danish, and British royal families. Nicholas was Queen Victoria's great-nephew, and King George V was his cousin.
They were like 2 sides of the same coin. They sported similar beards and were the same height. They swapped their clothes and no one could tell who was the Russian emperor and who was the British king. They joked a lot.
But mortal danger dogged the last Russian emperor from an early age. When Nicholas was 12, revolutionaries from an underground socialist organization killed his grandfather, Emperor Alexander II. An era of political terror evolved in Russia under the rule of Nicholas II. Revolutionary socialists and terrorists hunted down the last emperor. 2 Russian interior ministers, the chief prosecutor, the chief of police, and the governor of St. Petersburg died at the hands of terrorists. In 1905, an uncle of Nicholas II and another member of the royal family, the Moscow General Governor Grand Prince Sergei Romanov, were killed in 1905. A revolutionary assassinated the Russian Prime Minister Pyotr Stolypin in 1911. However, neither the Tsar nor his family were attacked during his reign. The last Russian emperor was an exemplary family man. Nicholas and Alexandra had 5 children. 4 daughters named Olga, Tatiana, Maria, Anastasia, and a son, Alexei. The heir to the throne was a hemophiliac, which meant his blood failed to clot. It's a rare condition, and a minor injury could have killed him. He was under the constant supervision of tutors and doctors. This hindered Nicholas II during the last 12 years of his reign. The demonic figure of Grigory Rasputin emerged solely due to the heir's illness. His role in the royal family still isn't clear to this day.